Good morning, dear children. Now we will move to our next topic, calorimeter. Okay. Do you remember what is calorimetry? The measurement of quantity of heat can be called as calorimetry. Now, we will move to calorimeter. Calorimeter is actually a cylindrical vessel which is used to measure the amount of heat energy gained or lost by a substance when it is mixed with another substance. Okay, when two substances are mixed together, one substance may gain heat and the other may lose heat, isn't it? So in order to find the amount of heat energy gained or lost by a substance, we are using a calorimeter. So as I said, it is actually a cylindrical vessel. Okay, this calorimeter is a cylindrical vessel and it is made up of thin sheets of copper. Do you know what is the specialty of copper? Copper is a good conductor of heat and it has low specific heat capacity. So this question came many times for the board exam. Why is copper used in order to make a calorimeter? There are two reasons. First thing, it is a good conductor of heat. Second one, it has low specific heat capacity. Okay, that is why we are using copper in order to make a calorimeter. Now, so it is made up of, calorimeter is a cylindrical vessel, then it is made up of thin sheets of copper. Now, the inner and outer walls of this vessel is polished. So what is the reason for this? Do you remember? There are three different ways by which heat loss can take place: conduction, convection and radiation, isn't it? So the inner and outer walls are actually polished in order to avoid the heat loss by the process of radiation. Now, this is surrounded by a wooden jacket. Okay, a wooden jacket is there surrounding this, and the space between the wooden jacket and the copper vessel is filled with an insulating substance such as wool or cotton. Why? This is done in order to avoid the heat loss by the method of conduction. Okay, so in the case of conduction, if an insulator is there in between, or if it is vacuum, what happens? Heat loss can be reduced by the heat loss due to conduction can be reduced. So that is why we are giving a wooden jacket, and between the wooden jacket and the copper calorimeter, some insulating substances will be filled. Okay. Now, it has a lid. Okay. And this lid is also made up of wood. A wooden lid is there. What is the use? In order to avoid heat loss by convection. Then on the lid, two holes are there. One is for the thermometer and the other one is for the stirrer, in order to stir or mix the things. So this is the structure of a calorimeter. Okay. So a calorimeter is a cylindrical vessel which is used in order to measure the amount of heat energy gained or lost when a substance is mixed with another substance. Then it consists of a vessel made up of thin sheets of copper. What is the reason? Copper is a good conductor of heat. It has low specific heat capacity. Then next, here the inner and outer walls of this calorimeter is coated, that is, it is polished. Okay, it is well polished in order to avoid the heat loss by radiation. Then we have a wooden jacket with some insulating substance in between in order to avoid heat loss by conduction. Then a wooden lid in order to avoid heat loss by what? Convection. Then there are two holes on the wooden lid. One is for the thermometer and the other one is for the stirrer. Okay. So this is the structure of a calorimeter. Okay. Now, already we learned that when a hot body is mixed with a cold body, Heat flows from the hot mixture in contact with the cold body. Heat flows from the hot body to the cold body until both attains the same temperature, isn't it? If no heat is lost to the surroundings, okay, if we are neglecting the heat lost into the surroundings, heat lost by, who will be losing the heat? Heat lost by hot body will be equal to heat gained by cold body, isn't it? So, when a hot body is kept in contact with a cold body, heat flows from the hot body to the cold body until both attains the same temperature. Now, if we are neglecting the heats, anyway some part of the heat will be given out to the surroundings. If we are neglecting that, then what you can say, heat lost by the hot body will be equal to the heat gained by the cold body. And this is known as principle of mixtures. Okay, principle of mixtures or principle of method of mixtures. Okay, principle of method of mixtures, or we will call it as principle of calorimetry. Okay, so this is very important. Principle of methods അല്ലെങ്കിൽ principle of calorimetry. So what is that? Principle of calorimetry. When a hot body is kept in contact with a cold body, heat flows from the hot body to the cold body until both attains the same temperature. So according to the principle of method of mixtures or principle of calorimetry, heat lost by the hot body will be equal to the heat gained by the cold body. So this sentence is known as the principle of calorimetry or principle of method of mixtures. Okay, so this question also came for the board exam. What is the other name given for the principle of calorimetry? So what is the other name? It is principle of method of mixtures. Okay, then this is actually based on law of conservation of energy. That also you should remember. Okay, so this principle is based on law of conservation of energy. Okay, so is it clear about calorimeter? Then about the principle of calorimetry. Now we have a small derivation. Here this is just in statements we are saying like this. We have a mathematical expression for this. So we'll derive that expression now and our numericals are based on that expression. Okay, so shall we move to that? Okay. So what you have to remember, heat lost by hot body will be equal to the heat gained by the cold body. Okay, so listen, we are going to consider a substance of mass M1, specific heat capacity C1 and temperature T1. Okay, so let this body be A. I am considering a body A of mass M1, specific heat capacity C1 and temperature T1. Now, this is mixed with a body B whose mass is M2, specific heat capacity is C2 and temperature is T2. Okay, so these two things are mixed inside a calorimeter. Two substances A and B. A is having a mass of M1, specific heat capacity C1 and temperature T1. B is having a mass of M2, specific heat capacity C2 and temperature T2. Now, let T1 be greater than T2. Okay, T1 is greater than T2. Now, these two things or substances are taken inside the calorimeter and we are mixing it using the stirrer present in it. So, what happens? Naturally, heat flows from A to B because A is at a greater temperature and let the final temperature obtained be T. Okay, final temperature obtained be T. So is it clear till this? M1 C1 T1, M2 C2 T2. For B, then T1, temperature of A is greater than temperature of B. When these two things are mixed together, the new temperature is T. Okay. Now, here which is the hot body? Is it A or B? A is the hot body because its temperature is more, isn't it? So, heat. So, first I'll write about the temperature. What happens when these two bodies are mixed? What happens to the temperature? When a hot body is mixed with a cold body, heat flows from hot body to cold body. Now, when it gets mixed, at first the temperature of A was T1 and finally when it was mixed with body B, its temperature became T. So, what happens here? Heat loss by A, isn't it? A is losing the heat when it is mixed with B. So, what will be the temperature of A? Here, before writing the heat, I'll be writing about the temperature. So, what about the fall in temperature? Fall in temperature of A. A is losing the heat. That means its temperature will fall. So, how much will be the fall in temperature of A? Actually, it was T1. But when it is mixed with the other body, it became T. That means fall in temperature. In the case of A, the temperature is going down and in the case of B, temperature increases, isn't it? So, fall in temperature of A will be T1 minus T. T1 was its original temperature. Finally, the temperature became T when it was mixed with B. So, fall in temperature of A is T1 minus T. Now, what about B? It will be rise, isn't it? So, rise in temperature of B. In the case of B, the temperature increases. So, how much will be the increase in temperature? The new temperature is T and its original temperature was T2. If it is, even though it is given as rise, we won't do any addition here. Okay. In the case of A, it is losing the heat. So, which one will be bigger? The first initial temperature of A is greater than the temperature which is obtained when both the bodies are mixed together, or the final temperature after mixing, isn't it? So that is why we have written it as T1 minus T. The temperature of A is greater than the final temperature after mixing. So we are writing it as T1 minus T. But in the case of B, it is gaining heat. So, here the temperature increases. That is why I have written it as T minus T2. T is the final temperature. T2 is the initial temperature of the object B. Okay. So, is it clear? Now, what we have to write? According to the principle of calorimetry, heat lost by hot body will be equal to heat gained by cold body. Isn't it? Now, what is the equation to calculate heat? We already learned it using the specific heat capacity. Our equation was Q is equal to MC delta T. Isn't it? That is our equation. Q is equal to MC delta T. That is why I told you to by heart that equation because it's very, very important. Now, so heat, the equation for heat is MC delta T. Who is losing heat? A. Heat lost by A is equal to heat gained by B. So, in the case of A, equation for heat is Q equal to MC delta T. So, M1, C1, delta T is increase or decrease in temperature or change in temperature. In the case of A, it is fall in temperature. So, M1 C1 into T1 minus T is equal to, in the case of B, mass is M2, specific heat is C2. Here it is T minus T2. This is called the mathematical expression for the principle of method of mixtures. Okay. So, is it clear? This is the principle of calorimetry, mathematical expression for principle of calorimetry or principle of method of mixtures. So only thing what you have to remember, we will be having, when you are doing the numericals, we will be having a hot body and a cold body. For the hot body, always it will be fall in temperature. So it will be its temperature minus the final temperature. For the cold body, it will be always rise in temperature. So final temperature minus its initial temperature. Then MC delta T is equal to MC delta T. So M1 C1 into T1 minus T is equal to M2 C2 into T minus T2. So this is the mathematical expression for what? Principle of calorimetry. Earlier, once it came, this mathematical expression came for the board exam. After that, only numericals are coming. Anyway, it's very simple. Please be thorough with this. Okay, if you try to by heart, it will be difficult. When we are doing numericals, sometimes we have to consider the heat gained or lost by the calorimeter also. So one more term will come. So if such questions are there, earlier it was there. If such questions are there, when we discuss the numericals, I'll tell you what you have to do. Okay, so this is the derivation. Clear? Now we will move to the applications of high specific heat capacity of water. So already I told you about the value of specific heat capacity of water. Do you remember what it is? When you are considering the SI system, value of specific heat capacity of water is 4200 joule per kilogram Kelvin. In CGS system, it is 4.2 joule per gram Kelvin. So we have a high value for specific heat capacity of water, isn't it? Value of specific heat capacity is so high in the case of water. So there are certain applications for this high specific heat capacity. So the first one is the temperature near the seashore is moderate. A moderate temperature is there near the seashore. What is the reason? We have already learned about land breeze and sea breeze, isn't it? So this is actually due to the value of specific heat capacity. During the daytime, land gets heated up by specific heat capacity of sand is very less. So than compared with water. So the land gets heated up easily and the air above the land also gets heated up and rises, creating a low pressure region there. Then cool breeze from the sea will blow towards the land and that is known as sea breeze. Then during night what happens? Land gets cool but the sea will be hot because water takes, the specific heat capacity of water is so high. It takes more time to get heated as well as more time to get cooled. Okay. So by evening or during the night time, the land will be hot. Air above the land rises up, creating a low pressure region there. Then cool breeze from land will blow towards the sea, which is known as the land breeze. So land breeze and sea breeze keeps a moderate temperature near the seashore. Okay, so this is actually an application of high specific heat capacity of water. Now, another one is in the case of fermentation. We are having hot water bags, isn't it? Hot water bottles or bags are there. So what is filled in this hot water bags? Water is filled. And what is the reason? That water, the temperature of water won't change easily. Okay, so it will take more time to absorb heat or it will take more time to lose the heat. In order to increase the temperature of water by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin, in order to increase the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin, 4.2 joules of heat energy has to be supplied. Similarly, we can say the reverse also. That is, if 1 gram of water has to be cooled, okay, 1 gram of water has to be cooled by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin 4.2 joules of heat energy has to be released. അത്രയും ഹീറ്റ് എനർജി റിലീസ് ചെയ്താലേ 1 ഡിഗ്രി ടെമ്പറേച്ചർ ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുള്ളൂ. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ 1 ഡിഗ്രി ടെമ്പറേച്ചർ കൂടണമെങ്കിൽ തന്നെ 1 ഗ്രാം വാട്ടറിന്റെ 1 ഡിഗ്രി ടെമ്പറേച്ചർ കൂടണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ 4.2 ജൂൾസ് ഓഫ് ഹീറ്റ് എനർജി കിട്ടണം. 1 ഡിഗ്രി ടെമ്പറേച്ചർ ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത്രയും 4.2 ജൂൾസ് ഓഫ് ഹീറ്റ് എനർജി റിലീസ് ചെയ്യണം. Then only there will be a change in the temperature of water. So when you are taking water in this hot water bottles, it will remain as such for a long period of time, because ആ ചൂട് നമ്മൾ പിടിപ്പിക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് that hotness should be there in the bag for a short period of time, isn't it? So in order to decrease the temperature by 1 degree, this much amount of heat has to be released. Due to the high value of specific heat capacity, what happens? It will take more time to get hot or more time to get cool. Okay, now another thing, in the case of car radiators and all, water will be circulated. What is the reason? Water will absorb the excess heat there without increasing the temperature. For most of the substances, when it absorbs heat, suddenly its temperature increases. But in the case of water, since specific heat capacity is more, it will take more time to increase the temperature. So water is circulated through the car radiators. It will absorb the heat without increasing the temperature. Okay, then another thing, in cold countries, the temperature will fall suddenly, isn't it? So when you are considering the juice bottles and all the juice inside the bottles will get frozen. So if it is frozen, means we cannot drink it. So in order to protect these things, what they will do, the juice bottles will be kept in water. Okay, in order to cool it, normally we will keep it in the refrigerator. So in cold countries, these juice or wine bottles will be placed in water. The reason is, even though the surrounding temperature falls, for water to reduce for the fall of temperature, in the case of water, how much heat is to be released? 1 gram water temperature 1 degree follow cheyanengil 4.2 joules of heat energy has to be released. So that much heat energy is released, and what happens when these wine or the juice bottles are placed in water? It won't get frozen. Water il ninnum release cheyna heat is there to keep the juice or the wine in the bottles warm. Okay, so is it clear? It's a very, very important concept. Now another one, in the case in fields, in cold countries, water will be filled in the field. So if the temperature falls, the water in the capillaries of the plants may get frozen, and it can cause the destruction of the crop. So if we are filling the field with water and the temperature tharanannundengil, that much amount of heat will be released, and this keeps the crops warm there. Okay, then when you are considering the body of animals, human beings or animals, 80 to 90% of our body is filled with the water. So this helps us to keep a moderate temperature in all the seasons. Okay, so many applications are there for high specific heat capacity of water. Just have a look on these things. Now the last part of this chapter is about the applications or examples of thermal capacity. Okay, examples related to thermal capacity. What is thermal capacity or heat capacity? Amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of a substance through 1 degree Celsius, isn't it? So how much heat energy is required to raise the temperature of the entire substance by 1 degree Celsius is known as heat capacity or thermal capacity. Now when you are considering the cooking vessels, its base is made thicker. So if the base is thicker, means the heat capacity will be more. Heat capacity will be more means it will take more time to get heated. So that much time is available for the food inside it to get cooked. Suddenly if it gets hot, means what happens? അതിനകത്തിരിക്കുന്ന ഫുഡ് കരിഞ്ഞു പോകും. So we need more time for the food to get cooked. So the base of the cooking pans will be made thicker. Okay, so its thermal capacity is high base thick high capacity, thermal capacity will be more. So it will take more time in order to get hot. So that much time is obtained for the food to get cooked. Then another thing in the case of press, that is iron box. The base of the iron box is made thicker. Same thing, this is done in order to increase the heat capacity. So that heat will remain there for a long period of time. Then the last one, what is given here is the vessels used for the measurement of heat, that is in calorimeter we are using copper as the substance in order to construct the calorimeter. What is the reason? Good conductor and it is having a low specific heat capacity. Okay, so these are the three examples given in the case of thermal capacity. So what are they? The first one is in the case of cooking vessels. Base of the cooking vessels are made thicker. So where if it is thicker, what happens? The capacity, thermal capacity increases. Then in the case of the iron box, then copper. Copper is used in order to construct the calorimeter. Okay, so with that we completed section A. Then here you can do the remaining question answers. In the last video we stopped with question number 20. So 21 to 30. If answer is there, no need to write it again. If the answer is not there, find the answer and write it. Okay, so thank you children.